To begin with, would you mind telling the launch control community a little bit more about yourself, about your business? Pretty
Oh,
much.
sure.
Hmm.
So my son and I started, I've been a realtor for a couple years and he's been a realtor for about 6 years. And back in July of 22, we decided to just pursue wholesaling. And it was recommended that we get in touch with people at Launch Control and get started there. So that's what we did. We started back in July and we've been doing that consistently ever since.
All right. It's actually great to hear that you're doing that with your son. I could say the
Yeah,
best
we
business
make a
partner
good
you can have.
team.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting. We make a pretty good team. You know, he's strong where I need some help, and vice versa.
Yeah, you complement each other. That's great. That's
Yeah.
actually the best combo you can get. So speaking of using the platform, I'm using launch control. How long have you been using it at all?
Well, we really started right around the first day of summer last year of 22, and we were told some people that had been using the platform recommended it, and we we just felt like based on their advice is that we need to really stick with it for a while. So what we did is we committed to 90 days. We said, hey, we're going to give everything we've got for 90 days. So we thought, well, that would be right around fall. So let's just
Mhm.
give what we got. And so it was a little bit of a learning curve initially. We just wanted to implement everything that we were taught. I mean, we knew that the support that was given to us at the beginning was helpful, and whatever somebody suggested, we would run with that because we didn't want to pretend that we knew everything. And we just, started out baby steps. We started out small. We continued to grow. We wanted to learn as much as we possibly could from the very beginning. And so we started out kind of slowly, but deliberately with the advice of the launch control team.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that it's your attitude that got you where you are now with your deals and with everything, because that's the state of mind that everyone needs to get into this business with. Just being ready to learn, being ready to hear the advice, hear advice from the people who are actually more experienced in something else, and you do what you do best, and that's closing deals, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, what we loved from the very beginning is we thought, wow, the automation that was there, the drips, the follow ups,
Mhm.
we knew that some people that were near us in the office that we share told us, they said, hey, be patient. You're going to need, several hundred, if not thousands of leads to, just to get a few. And so we knew that from the very beginning. We didn't know how long it was going to take. We just didn't know. But we knew that if we stuck with one thing long enough, that somehow it would come down. Now, were there times when we doubted and got a little bit discouraged? Yeah, there were. There were some times of doubt. But what we did is, by the fifth and sixth month, um, we began to see results. And so that's, and the only platform we've used is Launch Control. We're not doing any, currently, we're not doing any type of, in order to get leads and sellers, we're not doing anything else. We're not doing cold calling right now. We're just using exclusively Launch Control to get our
That's
business.
amazing.
Yeah.
Especially
Mhm.
what you mentioned. I mean, since all good things um, take time and effort, you invested yours in this, and
100%. Yeah. 100%, Jade.
look what happened. Yeah, I'm really glad to hear all of that. And speaking of launch control, would you specify a little bit more what kind of impact it had on your business?
Well, it's everything that we've relied upon this software to do everything for us to get our end users, our sellers. And we've done it, we've used it exclusively. We're going to continue to use it and we're going to expand on it as in the future. Probably what we'll do by the end of the first quarter, if not sooner, but we're looking at maybe April 1st of hiring somebody just to handle some of the details of the day to day. So my son and I could spend more time just calling only. Because the way that we have it set up right now is that I'm the one that's pretty much managing the platform. I,
Mm-hmm.
the initial contact with the customers and then define, what price they want, what their timeline is, what their motivation is, and so forth. There's 4 strategic things that we've learned that we need to ask for. So what I'll do is I'll set that up. I'll do the I'll do the this research and everything else that needs to be done, and then I'll pass it on to my son, and he's been closing. Sometimes we'll go out together and close together, but we're both trying to learn that aspect of the business exclusively using this platform.
Yeah, I mean, our goal as well is to save your time and put some money in your pocket. That's everyone's goal here, right?
Yeah, and we actually what we wanted to do is, I mean, a lot of times, to be quite honest, I've just been doing this about 4 hours a day at times. But then there's other times when you have more people that you need to contact in the evening. I might spend an hour or two, but it goes quickly. And what's happened down through the months, Jade, is I've learned, and when you put enough time in, you learn to realize where your time needs to go and who to spend time with. But you mentioned about saving time. I think that's one of the things that it really has done for us. It does a lot of the work for us. We don't have to dial. It's, and people these days, they like to respond, they respond to their text. Some of them will tell you just exactly what they think. And sometimes it's not always pretty, some of the things that they say, but, and people can get a little bit bold. Sometimes people will, they'll kind of joke around with you and say, well, sure, sure, I'll sell my property. And then you call them up and they'll say, no, I was just, it's a teenager or something. I got the wrong number. Anyway, but by and large, it is very, very much of a time saver for us. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that following up part later, but it's really great observation right now. But let's get a little bit more specific, if you don't mind. Could you perhaps walk us through a recent deal? Just break it all down and tell us how it all went.
Okay, yeah. This one was really interesting one. This is our first large deal. And it came about, probably the contact started 4 months in, and then by the 5th month we closed it. It was larger than average. Okay. What happened is that we had sent out the initial text and there was no response. This individual never responded. So there's a part of the program, the platform that Launch Control has, is that there's a follow-up aspect of it. So I sent out a group of follow-up texts. This person, it was all about timing because they responded to that follow-up. My son went out and I went out and met them in person, and we signed a contract that day to close 45 days later. And so prior to Christmas, they had moved out and we had a cash deal with a cash buyer based on the follow-up. They didn't respond initially, but you continue to persist in contacting those people, and sometimes it works out based on timing that you can get a big deal. You just never know where that next deal is coming from. And, every lead is valuable, but it's kind of exciting too. It's kind of like panning for gold,
Well, pretty much the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's
that next gold nugget is going to come from. But, we hope to get several more large opportunities like that. But, the average wholesale fee, and we use this for wholesaling primarily now. If we don't take it down ourselves, we'll find somebody else to do it, or we'll partner with somebody else. But, the average fee is about $15K. So this one was well above that. And, so that was a good deal. But it was the software that did that for us, and we had to make the phone call, and then we went out for a visit.
And that's how it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really key what you mentioned a little bit ago. You mentioned follow-ups, and I cannot stress it enough how important it is to follow up with the clients, to use drip automations, still to follow up with the ones who responded one way or another. Yeah. And I'm really glad that we share the perspective on that one. I feel that you have the same opinion on that. Yeah, please go ahead.
Well, you all you told us from the very beginning that was one of the more valuable things you could do, is something that's called a drip campaign. Was, we rely upon those quite often. And really what it comes down to is the volume of text that you send out. People join this and they think that they're going to have success in a week. Well, the fact is, you really need to look at it in a longer term. And what you need to do is you need to stick with it for what we've discovered is you need to stick with it for at least 6 months, 5, 6 months, and just be consistent with it. And then good things can happen. Some of them are just you're going to get a few deals that are just going to be bluebirds that are going to drop out of the sky. Sometimes, you have to dig a little deeper, and then it depends based on your skill. Most of us don't have a lot of skill when we first start out, but we learn as we go along through all the conversations that we have through failure, right?
Exactly.
Awkward conversations with people. Now, after 6 months, I feel pretty comfortable talking to people about their properties. And, it's really a lot about being personal with people and really caring about them. So I think that goes a long way. Doesn't work with everybody, because some people just want to get right down to business. But I think people want to realize that you're a genuine human being and that you do care about their needs. And so I would encourage anybody that's considering doing something like this to really be patient and give it time, because it will work and the numbers will work for you. They will work for you in time. Just be patient and stay with it and get better at it as you go along. So I anticipate, a lot more this year in 23 coming up. This being like, what is it, the second week of January now, Jade?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, we're off to a great start, and we've got several things in the pipeline right now, and we're pretty excited about what's ahead. And we're going to continue to use this platform and expand on it, and then probably do some other things too. Maybe have some people, bring them in to do some cold calling, things like that, as the business continues to grow.
That's great to hear. And I think you have every every reason to be excited about what's to come, because this is the time of the year when the response rates are going to peak. It's going to be fantastic for you. And I'm actually looking forward to your further results with us. Really,
Yeah.
really
Well,
hoping to. Mhm.
like I said, I just want to emphasize the importance of just staying with it, just sticking to what it is that you're doing. Now, it is going to cost some time, not just time investment, but it is going to cost some cash monthly to do it. And this isn't necessarily for everybody, but for those who have the ability to invest some money into it, this is a great way to go. And again, I'll say it one more time. If you stick with it, I promise it'll work for you. If you follow the advice that you get from Launch Control, the support is there that's needed. And we've always had the support that we've needed as we've had questions to go along. I would also encourage people to get with others who are doing the same thing or wanting to do the same thing. Don't just stick to yourself. Go ask others for advice who are in this business. Find other people. There's some mentorships out there that say that squad up. That's just squad up with others. We've been fortunate to be in an office with other people who are doing the same thing that we're doing, and we've been able to draw encouragement from them when we've been at our lowest point. So just don't give up, persist, keep at it, find other people that can get involved in the business with you, and you will see results. Even if you only use this SMS program that Launch Control offers, you will have success.
And I couldn't be happier that you have it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident the results are only going to get better. And regarding one thing you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
asking for advice, which is always
Yeah.
beneficial, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if perhaps you have any not only launch control, but launch control included, but any general investing hacks that you can share with the community.
Well, yeah, I would say make sure that you get things lined up.
Mm-hmm.
You have buyers that will, if you can't take something on once you've assigned a contract or once you've signed a contract with the seller, make sure that you have buyers lined up. It would be good to be able to get, say, at least 10 solid buyers. Even in this market, regardless what the market is, those who are serious about buying properties, you need to be having those conversations with people and finding out who they are and finding out what they want, so that when it comes time, when you have a contract for a property, then you can get in touch with a buyer who you can match up. Now, some people because times have changed, but we're in a great time right now, and there are people that are buying. We've got some key buyers that we always go to for our properties, and we always have somebody in mind that we go to specifically for specific deals, whether it's land or whether it's mobile homes or whether it's single family properties. That's pretty much where we focus on those three items, but mostly single family homes. So that's one thing I would advise is line up some buyers, some cash buyers that you can joint venture with, or that can just help you with private lending.
It's really useful. It's really
Hmm.
useful piece of advice. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for that.
yeah, for sure.
It's really, I don't know. I mean, every single thing you say is literally really valuable, not only for us, but also for our current and future users. So
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
y- since
Well, one of the things I was
please,
going to say is that
please go ahead.
everything that I've learned from somebody else because I knew absolutely, even though I was a realtor for about 2 years before we started this, or about a year and a half, I knew nothing about wholesaling, about creative investing, about cash investing. I knew very little about it, but I've learned a ton. So a lot of people considering this, they want to be free, they want to be independent, they want to be doing things on their own, and rather than, whether they start part-time or whether they're able to start full-time like we were fortunate enough to do. But it's something that you just need to be there's so much material out there on YouTube as well for just, just for instance, just type in the word wholesaling in YouTube, and you're going to get lots of advice. There's lots of good advice. There's lots of entertainment. There's lots of good advice. There's lots of good groups to join, but you just need to start out and just take action. That's what you need to do and be consistent with it, and find buyers when you do lock up a deal. Find buyers that and don't be afraid to ask them if you find a buyer and you say, "Hey, I'm just new at this, and what would you pay for this?" Get all the information, get the pictures, take the videos, go see the property if if it's local, and just say, "Look, I don't know what this is worth. Would you partner with me on this and tell me what would you pay for it?" And then, that can help. That's a start.
Definitely, learning is always key. I mean,
Yeah,
you know what they say, everyone knows something you don't. And we're all
absolutely.
learning, aren't we? All the
Absolutely.
time,
Yeah,
every day.
totally.
Well,
Yeah.
I must say that I agree with pretty much everything you said. And for the end, I would just like to ask you if you have any last words of wisdom you would like to share before we let you go.
Well, there's a lot to say and there's a lot to learn. I mean, all of us are learning something every single day. And you know, again, it's just if you have somebody to come along with you in the journey, if you can partner with somebody, I would really advise that because um, I've I've discovered that there is, no, you hear this phrase, no man is an island. I mean, it's like you need other people to help you. Don't think that you can do it all yourself. There's a few select individuals who can do that, but we all need help. We all need somebody to, come alongside and work with. And if I didn't have my son and the people in our office, we wouldn't have a lot of direction. So look, there's somebody in every community that there's Facebook groups out there. There's wholesale groups that you can get tied into. Don't try to do it on your own. I think that's the quickest way to failure and discouragement. Ask for help. Yeah.
Well, that's the way to work for you to overcome every obstacle
Yeah.
you may have
It's
encountered.
true. Yeah. Absolutely. There's so much
Um,
more to say. There's so much more that can be said. And there's a lot smarter people out there. There's a lot of people that know a whole lot more than I do. I just wake up pretty much every day thinking, I'm gonna learn something today that I don't know. I may get slammed today. I may not have any results today, but I just keep going because I know that tomorrow there'll be, it's just a matter of it's a numbers game when it comes to texting. And if you have enough numbers out there and you get the right timing, somebody gets your text, boom, that could be your next contract.
exactly. I mean, even the negative experiences are lessons to be learned, right?
Yep, absolutely, Jade, for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, we're pretty much done here, but
All right.
I would just love to take one
Good.
more chance to thank you so much for
Sure.
taking the time to do this. And once again, I can't stress it enough how glad I am that you're getting success with the platform and you're looking to even better numbers as far as I can see
Absolutely.
from what's going on
Abs-
in your account at the moment.
Well, thanks so much, Jade. I really appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. My pleasure.
Wonderful day. All right.